I entered the Birmingham Regional Championships, the biggest Pokemon regionals in European history, with over 2,500 players. I spent the last 3 weeks preparing for this tournament with the goal of qualifying for the Pokemon World Championships at the end of the season. To stay on track for Worlds though, I'm going to need a placement of top 64 or better, so I better start preparing. Okay, so I've got 3 weeks left until Birmingham and I still don't know what I'm playing. Now I have narrowed it down to 3 different decks though.
First up is Pidgeot Control. I've been playing Control for most of the season so far, including 2 regionals. The only problem with playing Control is when I brought it to Lille regionals, I missed day 2 by 1 point, and when I brought it to Stuttgart, I missed day 2 by 2 points. I also haven't played much Control recently, because I've been playing a lot of the second deck I'm considering, Ancient Balls. Now, I feel I've gotten really confident with Ancient Balls recently, using it to win a League Cup and making 18th out of 202 players at an online tournament. However, I found it becoming quite inconsistent at times, and also matches up badly into one of the most popular decks in format, and the third deck I'm considering, Charizard. Zard is by far the most proven deck out of the 3, and matches up well into a lot of popular decks, including Raging Bolt, Golden Go, and Clorf. Its more recent builds are also very consistent at setting up properly, and the Dusknoir line allows for some incredible turns in tandem with Briar to take extra prize cards. The only problem with playing Zard would be it's the deck I have the least experience with, and it matches up unfavourably into Regidrago, the most popular deck in format, as well as control archetypes, mainly Bird Control and Snorlax.
Alright, so with 2 weeks left, I'm going to lock in Charizard. After testing many different variations of the deck, I'm down to 2 different variations of Zard. The main concern I have going into this is being able to beat Regidrago, and so the first list I'm considering plays a TM Evo and a 1-1 Rabsca line to stop Dragapult and Kyurem from hitting your bench. The TM Evo also allows you to set up your Charmanders, Pidgeys and Dusclopses in matchups where Rabsca isn't necessary. The main problem I have with the Rabsca list is consistency. From testing, I've started with dead hands too many times, which is why the other list I'm considering is this 60, the deck that won Toronto Regionals in the Seniors Division. This build removes a lot of the Stage 1s and the TM Evolution in order to increase the number of consistency cards. Of course, you are going to have a worse matchup into Drago, Pult, and anything that can hit the bench, but those matchups are still playable. I've got a week left until the tournament, and I've decided to run the more consistent build. Having a better matchup into decks doesn't mean anything if you get unplayable hands a worrying amount of the time. I've also found that because I've sacrificed consistency for the Rabsca line, I'm losing to matchups that are supposed to be favoured more often due to bricks. The game plan is to just hope I can either get lucky or outskill any Regidrago players I hit.
Morning guys, it is tournament day. We got the Zard deck all sleeved up, we got fresh new pack of sleeves. Kinda nervous, can't lie, kinda nervous, but I'm also excited. Let's just get on the road and get to the venue.
Starting with a loss, we played Drago, which is the bad matchup that I don't want to hit, and I got punished for not playing Rabsca, and yeah, game 1 was kind of grindy back and forth, and in game 2 I chose to go first and had a terrible hand and bricked, so yeah, get back in there, win some more games. Okay, going into lunch now. Round 2, played against Bolt. I think game 1 I won pretty convincingly. Round 2, game 2. I just missed too many attacks and he ran away with the game. Game 3 I hard bricked, so we lost that one. So that's 0-2. And in round 3 we played against Ceruledge just now. It was a clean 2-game sweep. It was pretty nice. Yeah, not much to say about that game. It was just pretty clean. He nearly got me at the end of game 2 with like a Hyper Blower into Charmeleon, and then just pass, but we got there eventually. So 1 and 2 into lunch. It's not over, but it's not looking good. Okay, round 4 was Clorf to Rapagos. I got to play 1 whole turn. Game 1 I hard bricked and scooped on his second turn, and Game 2 I got turn 1 going first donked, so that was fun. So that is 1 and 3, so it's not great. Round 5 was Zard Mirror. It's quite grindy, quite back and forth, but I just kind of took both games. Not much to say about it. I thought he had game 2, but I pulled out a 4 prize turn for that one, so that puts me on 2 and 3 after that one. Right, we're back at home because I forgot to record recaps for games 6 and 7 at the venue. Game 6, at this point we are 2 and 3. Yeah, 2 and 3. So the goal at this point is to get 12 points. That will match my run from Stuttgart at 4 and 3, and that should hopefully also seal me top 64 to get packs as prizing, and also 100 championship points to go towards the Worlds invite. If we make that, we should still be on target for Worlds. So round 6, I paired against Lugia. Lugia, not one I really tested going into this one much. So, we'll just play it out, see how it goes. He had Water Ogerpon, so I was going to hold the Churro in case he goes for some kind of Soblock play in the end game. Game 1, he won. All 3 games were very back and forth, very close games. So game 1, he won within about 20 minutes. He had 2 Minchinos, so that's quite bad because he can just get a Minchino out and one hit a Zard, and I kind of struggle to set up and take multiple prizes. He can mess with the prize map with Legacy. In fact, I had the game on board, and then he slaps down Legacy, and suddenly I don't have a route to take a 2 prize knockout, and he claws it back and takes game 1. He made some really good plays to take it. By the way, dude, my round 6 opponent was so chill. He was so nice. Great game, especially, we haven't had the best morning. It's really nice to be able to just sit down and play a fun game of Pokemon. Game 2, pretty much the same thing. He, again, got both Archeopses out by turn 2, which is, you hate to see it. But this time, it got to the end game. He had 2 prizes left. I had 2 prizes left. But after the game, after game 2, he told me that he had, what was it? I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was like a certain amount of energy in discard, 2 energy in his last 2 prizes, and he just doesn't have enough energy in deck to power up another attacker. He has loads of them in hand because he had a massive hand at that point. I remember that. He had a giant hand, so he just couldn't get anything out, and we wrap it up and go to game 2 with, 5-10 minutes left on the clock. We're going to see if we can play this one out. At this point, we do gentlemen's because a tie here will guarantee that neither of us make top 64 prizing. So going into game 3, not long left on the clock. Same as game 1 and 2, really. He gets the Archeopses out early on. We go to time. This game went like 10 minutes into overtime. It was insane. It was definitely the longest game of the day by far. Yeah, he got both his rats out. He swept. He got going quicker than I did. He took game 3 really far into overtime. So the gentlemen's didn't end up mattering, but kind of sucks that now we're not playing for top 64. We're just playing the final round of the day for fun, basically. Alright, so round 7 was quite scary because I sat down at 2 and 4 at this point. I just want to play out like a slow, fun game to close out the day. I sat down, my opponent shows up, sits down, again, really nice guy, and he pulls out 2 Snorlax plushies, and at that point, I'm like, this better not be Block Lax, because if I have to play Block Lax the final round of the day, I probably would have just conceded on the spot and called it a day and gone home. But he was actually playing Raging Bolt. As I said, super nice guy. It was a really fun game. he just didn't really get going. Game 1 was just a clean sweep. He did take, I think, maybe 3 prizes. I can't remember exactly, but he did get maybe halfway through the prize map before I just ran off with it. He missed too many knockouts. You know how it goes. You miss a knockout in the Bolt versus Zard matchup and you're losing the game, basically. Game 2 was really funny. So I tested the Bolt matchup quite a lot going into this one. I wanted to have it down because I felt like Bolt would be fairly popular. So from testing, you don't want them to be able to take 2 prizes on you first. Whoever takes the first 2 prizes is going to win the game, generally speaking. So we were kind of stuck in this loop where I was waiting to draw into Dusclops, Candy Charizard, and I was basically not putting down any multi-prizes until he takes a knockout or until I find Candy Bird, Quick Search Candy, Zard, Dusclops, KO, 2-prize KO, because I don't want to be, like, I can't knock anything out without Dusclops and without him taking prizes, basically. So he's hard-bricking, that's the problem. He's hard-bricking, and I'm refusing to take knockouts, because the moment I start swinging, I'm not taking a knockout on that first hit, and now I have so many multi-prizes on the board. You'll have Pidgeot, you'll have Zard, you could also bench Rotom or Luminion to get to the board state. It was quite silly, because I was sitting there, draw passing, draw passing, draw passing. He was sitting there, draw passing, draw passing, draw passing. And eventually we get to the point where I have Dusclops, Candy Zard, Candy Bird. The whole shebang, basically. I actually opted to chase down the Fez rather than like the Bolt or the Ogre because, you know, when he's just been draw passing turn after turn after turn, his hand is probably not going to be that good, otherwise he would have done something. Unless he was just waiting for me to take the multi-prize. So I'm going to chase down this Fez. I stick 5 on the Raging Bolt from Dusclops, Countercatcher, Knockout Fez and Diffity. From there it's just back and forth, and since I took the first 2, I won that one as well. Super fun game, super nice opponent, and we rounded out the day with a final record of 3-4. Definitely not what I was hoping for. Definitely not the record I would have wanted going into this. This is my worst tournament run of the season, unfortunately. This was the worst regionals of the season, and it was also the first regionals I didn't play bird control. So next major even is EYC, and based off how Birmingham went, I'm going to play something cringe. I'm going to play bird control, I'm going to play Snorlax, I don't know. It's I'm going to play cringe decks, but I can't be too sad about the record because it was such a fun day. It was such a great weekend. I got to play the League Challenge on Saturday, the side event League Challenge, where I actually ran into the Cloth Terrapagos opponent and I played a super fun game against him. I didn't play Zard this time, I played Ancient Box, which was a lot of fun. I love playing Ancient Box, it's such a fun deck. I went 2-1 in the challenge. I then also did some on-demand side events, and I got a ton of packs from the prize wall. Great weekend. So Birmingham didn't really go as planned, but as I said, European Internationals coming up very, very soon. Oh, it's going to be fun. I'm going to play probably some form of control. Expect a video on that one at some point. Yeah, thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. If you watched this far, of course, like and subscribe because you most likely enjoyed it. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the European Internationals video.